Hello there, everybody. Saban92 AK Nightmare, and finally, we are back to the magnificent drama that is Irae Amantes Amentes. Now, before we get started, I want to go ahead and give a large thank you specifically to the Irae fandom, first and foremost, for allowing me to have the little break that I did playing Digital Devil Saga. Seriously, thank you guys so much. It really means a lot to me. And I'll tell you what, I am happy, raring to go to finally get back into this little Grand Guinal. I believe that's how it's pronounced. If it's not, well, I've never been good with pronouncing some things. Whew. I'm excited. I remember I took notes, and I tried my best to remember everything that I could. Thankfully, I still remembered pretty much the majority of the entirety of what we're going to be going through here. Sort of. So apparently we're going to be doing the Marie route, because we had our little... We started our break by ending the Sakurai route. Now, Nightling Setsuna. You are a saint for assisting me with figuring out how I get started on the Marie route. So, we needed to go to save number 11, and we're going to change things up a little bit. So, this time, we apparently have to... I remember what happens here. We gotta drag either Kasumi or Sakurai away. And I think we already know the answer to this one. Drag Sakurai away. Oh, it feels so good to finally be back into this. You guys have no idea how good it feels. Oh, this is nice. I grabbed Sakurai by the wrist, forcefully dragging her away. I'm sorry, Kasumi. Despite Kasumi's attempts at calling out to me from behind, I completely ignored her. For the time being, I had to get these two as far away from each other as possible. Well, I don't know. It's been a few months since we last did this, so... I don't know. Actually, no, I stand right. It's been a year! I'm sorry.
まるで私が藤井君をたぶらかしてる悪い女みたいに思われそうで嫌なんだけど。
似たようなもんだろ。それから黙れ。
まあいいけど。でも彼女、ああいう扱いをされるのが一番嫌なんじゃなかったかしらね。
Oh my god, it feels so good to be back here.
あの夜も本音を暴露してたじゃない。今は忘れてるんだろうけど、あれが嘘だったわけでもないんだし。
黙れよ。ムカつくやつだな、お前。俺の相手だけするんじゃなかったのか。
Also, weren't we kind of dating in the last route? Wait a minute, that's... Different timeline, my bad.
了解。怒らないでよ、分かったから。
I make no promises.
あまりカリカリしてると良くないわよ。さっきのセリフも、なんか誤解を招きそうな感じだし。
She was right. The way we'd been arguing in front of the gate had already earned us some funny looks from the nearby students. Hey! Don't fucking stare at me! I'm talking to my girlfriend from a different timeline, okay? Still, I managed to get her away from Kasumi, which was something. I understood how she felt, but I didn't know what else to do. I let go of Sakurai and walked past the gate by myself. My top priority right now was to master formation as soon as possible. Sakurai's aloof evasiveness aside, it was clear as day that I'd have about a snowball's chance in hell to fend off Rusalka and Wilhelm otherwise. Oh, goody! Kaziklube and Malleus, of course! And we are over to the purple text. This ought to be good, so I can actually skip some of this. Boop. Oh my god. It's going by so fucking fast! Alright, now we're over here with Marie naked in my bed. Alright, so the next choice I have to pick... Okay, obviously. Well, that was some high-octane action that I just happened to breeze right through. That was fantastic. A lot of purple right there, I'll tell you what. Alright, so we need to hide.
頼む。今すぐ隠れてくれ。
隠れる？
Yes, literally go inside my... Wait a minute.
そう、見つからないように。ベッド潜っておとなしく。
おとなしく。
Yes, do not make any noises.
あと、なるべく厚みも消すように。人がいるってバレちゃダメだぞ。
Yeah, it'd get kind of awkward.
どうして？
Because I'm pretty sure it'd be very weird for somebody to walk in and they see a naked woman that's just actually no, naked teenager just kind of laying in my bed. That nobody knows who even you are. That's totally not gonna cause any...
No, that will totally not raise any suspicion whatsoever.
Shut up, Tristan.
どうしてって当たり前だろう。このままじゃ俺がひどい目に遭う。
どんな？
The kind of trouble that might get me thrown in prison.
いや、具体的にどうなるかはわからないけど、愉快な展開には絶対なりそうにないんだよ。
Maybe. Oh my god, the poor innocent child.
ああ、もう。
How was I supposed to get through to her? Besides, she was basically a spirit, so couldn't she just appear and disappear at will? Oh god, purple screen! Jesus Christ! God, find the camera! That legitimately scared me. Just gonna point that out. I just had to stop right there just for a minute because that literally threw me off. Okay, back to skipping, people. And instantly already up to the third choice? Okay, that was... I was expecting there to be much more story, but I think it's probably because I've gone through so many routes that it's... Huh. Okay. To protect... Wait. Yeah, okay, so the next option I have to pick is to protect her. To survive. Oh, god damn it, purple again! Fucking Christ, stop scaring me! Oh my god, it is really skipping through way too much shit, holy fuck! Okay, immediately to the next option. Okay, why the hell not? Okay, we're getting into the thick of it. My god, we're just skipping through everything. Holy shit. Okay, fine. Oh. You're just throwing me to... This is DS Irae. I immediately get back into it, and it's already putting me through a tumultuous, emotional roller coaster. Thank you very much for doing that. I highly appreciate what you're doing. My god. This... Okay, the skip function, holy shit. Okay, apparently I have to kill her, so I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to kill you. I know I literally just talked to you like over a minute ago, but I'm sorry, but you gotta have to die. Right. She was a nuisance. I needed to get things under control and flee as fast as possible. And if she meant to try and hinder me, if she planned to get in my way, I just turned her into a corpse that couldn't do a goddamn thing. Hello, Sakurai. My guillotine knocked Sakurai aside with ease. Once a formidable foe, she now seemed like a weakling at the bottom of the food chain. We were back on the bridge again. The thorough lack of any sort of cover upon its sprawling panorama only served to amplify my fear. I kicked off the ground and raised my right arm in an attempt to rid myself of the annoying pest right here and now. She may have brazenly guarded against my last strike, but I was in no mood to let her get away with that twice. Our spiritual characteristics were different. Our souls were different. We couldn't have been more unlike each other. Opposites attract! Also, we're back to the skull design. Even if she managed to block in time, I'd cleave right through that puny little flame she called a soul in one clean strike. Savage! That was my... For just a brief second, I felt like there was something I had sworn not to waste, but I pushed it out of my mind. This was neither the time nor the place for that. So instead, I sounded a terrific battle cry. I charged forward with my weapon bared, ready to rid myself of the girl in front of me. Got her! Sakurai's face froze in a mask of despair, yet a split second before my steel could claim her life.
素晴らしい。
Oh boy. My blade, boasting a prowess capable of tearing through anything and anyone, was stopped by a shield outclassing even its deadly bite. What's Trifa doing, just holding up his pinky to kind of block it? Ooh, subarashi.
が、いけませんね。切裂です。死ぬならスワスチカで死ぬ程度の意地を見せなさい。レオンハルト。
Well, it has been quite some time, Trifa.
あんたは
Found myself thoroughly paralyzed by the sight before me. Its sheer absurdity, its mind-boggling impossibility. Valeria Trifa. The father Trifa I knew was the textbook example of a man who could barely even hurt a fly. He stopped my attack with his bare hands. He protected Sakurai, and he knew her.
なんで
By the way, I'm actually the villain. An abrupt onset of confusion cooled my seething mind as the whirlpool of fear that once raged within me evaporated. I began to slowly regain my composure. But even still,
違うそんなこと
much like during the incident with Kasumi, my go-to reaction was to withdraw into complete denial, despite knowing it'd be shattered to pieces in a matter of seconds. It has been quite some time, my old friend. Valeria Trifa was the divine vessel, the ringleader of the bastards who plunged this city, our world, into the realm of the abnormal, and were likely planning something even bigger. That fact was...
さてそれでは戯れ遊びも終わりです改めて自己紹介いたしましょうか藤井さん
I'm sorry. I just... Oh my goodness, I've missed this novel.
私の名は聖三杯清掃13騎士団黒煙卓第3位狩猟代行バレリア・トリファークリストフ・ローエングリーンあなたの父祖に等しい我が死からは横島なる聖人などと呪いを賜った男ですよ
You guys didn't hear that. That was totally not my computer making a noise right there. I promise that was definitely not my computer making a noise. In other words, this meant that everything, from Kasumi to Himuro, could easily be connected to this whole goddamn mess.
では今より開戦といたしましょうか
I was left completely paralyzed in the face of such a tremendously powerful foe. Well, yeah! The dude's the ultimate shield incarnate! Also, back to the skipping! Alright, I forgot about that. And, okay, I guess it's going back to this. My god, Reinhard! I missed you, you golden bastard! But amidst pressure overwhelming enough to shatter my very soul, I sensed something else. Only faintly at first. But it gradually grew clearer.
これは
A sound. Where was it coming from? It sounded like chirping, akin to the trembling of a resonating tuning fork, growing louder and louder. Marie? It was her voice.
私よくわからない
Okay, I don't know if I was going to turn that off, so... I could sense her confusion.
わからないわからないねこれは何
This is a god in literal form. My right arm began to violently tremble.
あの人何とてもねなんていうのこ
持ち
A resonance. Met with a soul similar in nature to hers, Marie's own soul began to grow, skyrocket, in density, seemingly without limit. As a result,
怖い
she was changing, transforming. This was some kind of chemical reaction.
怖いあの人が怖い
Reinhard Heydrich was terrifying. That is the understatement of the millennia. The emotions flooding my heart spread over to Marie, amplifying them 1,000 times over. What could I do?
怖い怖い怖いよねねえ私はどうしたらいい
What was I to do? People assailed by fear generally had two options available to them.
逃げるか
Or,
あいつを
bruh, you trying to charge toward him, he just has to barely even, you know what, I was gonna say he just has to breathe on you and then you would collapse into like antimatter, or you would just break down into just pure atoms, or a pile of dust. No, he just has to look at you at this point. Would I charge at the source of our fear, and darkness blanketed my mind and vision with the abruptness of a finger snap.
一刀のもとに立てばよい
Mercurius.
ほうこれは
A faint smile crept onto the beast's lips as the divine vessel gazed upon the spectacle in awe. It was a clear display of their difference, evident proof of one's superiority over the other as a commander of souls. The beast knew no fear, treating all who dwelt under the canopy of the heavens as his playthings. The monarch of destruction, his august visage, the very herald of calamity, bowed before no king or man. Yet, his dreadful charisma shackled all who knew him. In contrast, the divine vessel knew the hearts of men. Though his heart had drowned in madness, his nature was of the mundane, thus favoring the crude and lowly, able to adapt to all situations, entrapping others through hate and love, remorse, sorrow, wrath, and resentment. His cruel web would allow for no escape. As a result, the divine vessel judged the present situation as an omen of misfortune, while the beast smiled at it as fortuitous. The former was in the right, for he knew the hearts of men and could see the current state of affairs for what it truly was. Yet the genuinely terrifying man was indeed the latter, for he boasted of prowess supreme, capable of trampling all who dared oppose him into dust. Despite Ren Fuji's attempts at opposing the beast's terrible pressure, his whole body howled in agony, breaking apart with each passing second.
暴走か
Uh-oh.
というよりあなたがそうさせているのでしょハイドリヒ教
One weaved graceful words. The other was overcome by sour exasperation, yet neither made a move to intervene.
これは狂信あなたの魂にこうして彼らは作り変えられている副首領閣下のごとく評するなら相当の蛇が脱皮をしている最中ですな
Oh.
ならば
ええなら
Ren's body was being destroyed and rebuilt at the same time. They sensed that the scales of that conflict were gradually tilting in a positive direction.
これではいずれ今のあなたを上回るやもしれません
Oh my.
ねえでもない
And a moment later, the tiny mouse pinned down by the beast's fierce forelegs finally broke free. I couldn't tell exactly how long I'd been out for, but the situation had changed drastically. My body felt light to the point where Reinhardt's ungodly pressure no longer hurt. My resistance had increased and my vision felt better than ever. Though my whole body was seething, my mind remained cool and collected, able to carry out what I had to do without a shred of hesitation. Reinhardt beckoned me with grace, his haughty words brimming with elegance. Both Father Tarifa and Sakurai took a step back, leaving us to genuinely face each other one-on-one. If I attempted to flee now, that'd be the end of the line. Unless I beat Reinhardt now, I felt like I'd never get another chance. A second later, I dashed straight ahead, spurred on by an indescribable hunch. Reinhardt smiled at my charge without even looking at the raised guillotine aimed at him, nor did he assume a defensive stance. I brought down the guillotine upon his neck, pouring every last atom of my being into what I could easily label as the most powerful strike I had ever delivered. However... Of course. My blade inflicted no pain on Reinhardt whatsoever, failing to cleave even a single strand of his hair. Look, oh my god. Oh dear lord, you magnificent bastard. I should have been stronger now. Should have been more powerful than I was a few minutes ago. Marie learned fear, which I weaved into my blade and was able to brush aside that abomination's pressure. So why? Why was there so much a gap between us? The Totenkopf Emperor calmly placed his hand upon the blade aimed at his neck before leveling his gaze with mine. His eyes were brimming with golden hellfire, their gaze devouring my very soul. I felt my will, my strength, waver in pain.
夫人の扱いを知らぬ男に抱かれては K のビビしさもくすんでしまおう歌姫歓喜哀絶そして高揚花を飾るのはそれだけでよい恐怖や憤怒などというものは所詮泥名をのたつヒップの業に他ならんカールよゆえに私なりの愛し方を享受するがよかろうな
Oh, God. I don't think I want to go through the love legends that Reinhardt has in mind. Just then, something happened that made me want to close my eyes and plug my ears.
私は全てを愛しているそれが何者であれ差別はなく平等に
That's the opposite of good. The sound of it gnawed at my eardrums, its sight boring out my eyes. I was left completely powerless and outmatched. This abomination of a man was completely out of my league.
私の愛とはすなわち破壊すべて壊す天国も地獄も神も悪魔も死んだ万象三千大千世界のことごとくを壊したことがないものを見つけるまでな K はどうだ私に抱かれたことがあったかね知りたいな
No. I mean, I respectfully refuse. A series of deep cracks ran along the guillotine with a sharp creak. Marie was being shattered. I let out a futile, hollow scream.
K も怒りの火の奏者なら楽器の泣かせ方は心得ることだザラトゥストラ
That end, we're done. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining.
ない、すぐに返してやろう。もっとも別の男に抱かれた女を再度受け入れる度量があればの話だがな。
As he shattered my Ananerabe with his bare hand and sent me singing into the darkness of the abyss, I saw Reinhardt carrying a befuddled Marie in his arms. Was I going to die in a place like this?
ねえ、てめえら、こいつに言ったい。
That was Shiro's voice. Did he come to rescue me? A dumbass. He should have been running for his life. He was mad, genuinely pissed off, which is a rare sight in itself, but I couldn't for the life of me open my eyes. All I could do was sink deeper, deeper, with no end in sight. Oh, that's right, Rosto Spine is the only one who died. Chapter 6, Load of the Dead, end. The attack was reminiscent of a flash of light.
お初にお目にかかる。私のことはカールから聞いているかね？
For a moment, Marie felt as if her body was crushed. But then, before her senses could catch up, she was being held by that man. Beauty that made the conscious mind go hazy. A voice that flowed with elegance and echoed with commanding nobility. Strength that made his embrace impossible to resist. To say that he had the makings of a perfect man would not be an exaggeration. No observational angle could throw a shadow over the golden mean of his blinding light. However,
K のためにこの夜会を用意した。僭越ながら、共に踊ってはいただけまいか。
However, those sweet mannerisms made chills overwhelm the very core of her being. Chills unlike those of a female awestruck by a high-quality male. That was definitely not what she felt. It wasn't favor, respect, servility, or dependence. That much was certain. Then how would one label this sensation? The melody of an orchestra reached her ears. They were standing in the center of a palatial grand hall, surrounded by dozens of musicians.
彼らは私の騎士で、どうした？皆が K を歓迎している。さ、共に一曲。
And so the ball began, disregarding her confusion.
彼は私を何と言っていたね？マルグリット。
It was strange, incomprehensible even. Marie felt unaccustomed to dancing, nor did she have a grasp of the etiquette required at social events fit for nobility.
理解を深め合う最良の一つとして、共通の知人を話題にするのは有意義だ。あなたの知る彼は、どのように私を評していたのだろう。ぜひ聞きたい。
Reinhardt took the lead and did it all without flaw, treating Marie like a girl born to royals and raised like one. Not a single soul in the hall was looking down on her. Marie looked around in confusion, wondering what was going on. If reason had any influence here, then she was no doubt experiencing a welcome that most women would only dream about. She was a guest. The host was a man with no visible flaws. The hospitality he provided nothing short of perfect. Everything was gaudy, grand, and refined. Countless women might be reasonably overwhelmed by all of this, yet those who could honestly say they disliked it were few and far between. Then what was wrong with her? Everything. The man, his castle, and the music around them felt wrong. She was at a complete loss for words, lacking the vocabulary needed to aptly describe the sensation. He was looking straight at her. Marie couldn't help but shift her gaze away from his glaring golden gander. Glaring golden gander. What that? Okay. The orchestral music flowing into her ears was both grandiose and clean, clearly establishing itself as the amalgamation of many a great skill. However, each and every one of the talented players seemed clouded in something off, distorted, and warped. Marie felt as if they were performing at a funeral. Then she realized that there was something more blatant about them. There was a woman playing the cello. The left half of her face was nothing but a hideous burn scar. There was a boy playing the flute. His right eye was completely out of its socket. There was a man conducting the ensemble. His body was merged with something wrought of iron. Confusion gripped her with renewed vigor. Marie questioned the very scene before her as she looked around, realizing that each and every single one of them were missing a part of their body, be it a small amount or a significant portion. Some even looked like they should not be alive at all. And then it finally dawned on her that she was surrounded by an orchestra of the dead.
答えは
The golden man smiled. He, and he alone, out of everyone present in the hall, seemed to radiate an aura of perfection that bordered on the uncanny. It felt almost as if, indeed, as if both the man and the entirety of this world was. Also, they specifically mentioned those three over there. The one with the half-burned face, the one missing an eye, the one made of iron. Was that supposed to be a reference to Schreiber, Machina, and Samiel? Because that's the kind of thing that that's the kind of picture that kind of popped up in my head, you know? Or is that just a weird coincidence?
地獄
He had consumed countless people, the aura of their death and suffering still lingering about him. Such was the impression she had converged upon. Whoops, my bad.
なるほど変わらんなあの男
He spoke with the grace of a devil as Marie finally noticed the core of her own unease. What would explain all these profound thoughts and emotions in her chest? Why did she know words and concepts that she couldn't? Those very questions spinning in her head were more than out of the ordinary.
これは痛み
And so her lips parted to give life to that whisper. The knowledge she shouldn't have had was overwhelming, breaking everything that constituted her very being. She felt like one of the dead still performing their piece.
地獄地獄か個人的には呼び名など心底からどうでもよいがねだが無冠であれば歓喜はない私の世界においてそれは許さん言ったろ愛し方を享受すると
She finally understood. This was fear. The only emotion plaguing her heart in his presence was absolute dread. So this is why Cagliostro told her he was a terrifying man. This is why Ren trembled at his ominous golden presence. And Marie could even understand the fine details behind it.
あなたはたった一人
She was like him, but different. They were both beyond, but unlike Marie, the man was one to repaint the whole of the cosmos all by his lonesome.
かもしれん
Right. A good comparison would be.
K は大海に落ちても溶けぬ宝石私は大海を染め上げる墨のようなもの
A pebble, a drop, and a drastic difference in their influence.
波動と愚動カールはそう言っていたな前者は私後者は K だ私としてはそちらの方が眩しく見えるよ我が配下にも似たような資質の者が複数いるがね
Marie didn't want to know. She wished to stay oblivious, yet in the end she couldn't help but understand.
カールは波動の激突を望んでいる無論私もそこは同じ故に彼がいて彼を愛する K がいるのだ東王マルグリットこの私をどう思うね
The ensemble played a requiem fit for the apocalypse, their instruments handled by an orchestra of the dead. His world plunged into the ocean, its waters would be all painted anew in its color. Which was why
怖いよ
she was scared of the idea that she and him, could be ravaged and erased by this land of the dead. That might have been the first time she'd ever experienced what it felt like to reject something. The Golden Man grinned as if that was the answer he had been longing for.
ならば共に天をいただかず岩をここに戦線は布告された。
The attack was reminiscent of a flash of light that took the shape of a shining lance. The battle cries reverberating throughout the castle turned into torturous hurrahs as they pierced through her chest.
その誓い夢忘れぬように呪いを送ろう。痛みが胸にある限りそは恩義を溶かし続ける。
Marie was once asked if she wanted to go on a journey, if she was fine with doing nothing but singing by herself for all eternity. She could provide no answer back then. Cagliostro promised her to make it enjoyable. She, the unmelting gem in this ocean of stars, would change. She begged him for an answer. What was on his mind when he approached her? What was he planning to have her do? Marie's consciousness faded as her mind took a dive through memories. How long had it been since the two had had their first encounter? She wished Cagliostro to tell her. What could have been going through his mind back then? She felt that knowing that would make it easier for her to accept the striking changes within herself. Chapter 7 Sacrament. Goody! In an introspection, in a calm inspection of his own many negatives, Mercurius found his taste for jests to be the one that stood out the most. Next came his needless verbosity. With his nature being that of an inconsiderate man, he was severely unequipped to speak the necessary words at the necessary time in the necessary amounts. He acknowledged that fact. In fact, he was doing it right now. The meaning of the deluge of letters he had just spouted forth could easily be boiled down to the simple and meager four-word sentence of, I talk too much. He was a wordsmith that refined the complicated and reforged the straightforward into the complex. That is how he preferred to perceive and present his thoughts. It was a small wonder those environing him would consider vexing. Would consider him, That was what it meant to speak in jest. As the roundabout phrases he spun and weaved played with his diverse audiences and filled them with displeasure, curiosity, or apathy, he developed a habit of looking deep into his own makings and workings. The heart of it lay in the fact that he saw little value in mutual understanding and effective relay of intention. And lo, there it came again. All he spoke just then could be summed up in nothing more than a simple, I only speak what I want to say, nothing more, nothing less. Yet even he encountered moments when he wished someone to understand him, to share in his vision, and walk towards it hand in hand. Though he led a long and sloppy life, such moments only amounted to a mere 2. Whether or not this event was one worthy of commemoration remained to be seen, yet here it was, the moment that began it all.
あなたに恋をした。
A man so roundabout, so euphemistic, he who hardly ever expected comprehension from another. Why then did his lips breathe life to the most direct, simple, and plain words that left no room for misinterpretation?
あなたにひざまずかせていただきたい、花よ。
He knew the reason, and he knew it well. He was simply nervous. Nervous with fear, nervous with envy, or perhaps even with searing hatred. He wished the maiden to acknowledge him. He wished to avoid the cruelty of being regarded as a worthless existence best left ignored. And that is why his words were stripped of their decor and left to freeze in the cold, leaving them unsightly, unpresentable, and unfitting, especially for the purpose of courting a lady. There was no denying that he had acted like a youth slightly wet behind the ears. Ignoring the question of whether he actually lived through a period that could be described as youth, this was the only time, the only moment when he could be equated to an inexperienced young boy at the apex of his greenery. The only moment when he felt embarrassment about the words that escaped him. Even now, he had trouble believing it. But his burst of passion felt so fierce, it left him unable to discern whether the experience was foreknowledge or something entirely alien. The comedy of it was transparent. Despite ambiguity existing as his natural state of being, the very first time he displayed certainty, he became an existence even more ambiguous than before. Such was the story of his bittersweet blunder. He wished for him to share his love for her.
あなたは誰？
And Fuji? Zarathustra? Or perhaps a kindred jester? You are my third, so let me be straightforward for the third time ever. I will now speak my will, for I want you to share my love from the first moment, and my fellowship from the second. You are my...
あなたの奴隷だよ、マルグリット・ブルイユ。あなたの所有物であり、あなたの力であり、あなたの分身としてあなたを救い、あなたのおかげで幸せを得るあなたの傀儡だ。私はそのために生まれた。俺は。
Go on. Awaken and open your eyes. This is something to be joyous about, is it not? My second went and broke my first for the sake of my third. Self. Ah, how blessed I am to have such a loyal friend, such a fine lady, and such an excellent ex. You all fill me with an urge to boast. Caduceus shall not be cut, severed, or torn apart. Entangle yourself once more, with greater power and intensity than ever before. Take a step towards your own completion. Shed your skin and be reborn, my dear substitute. My son. That was the first sensation to greet me as I awoke. Then I became aware of the darkness enveloping my vision. My eyes had been open without me realizing it. I blinked a number of times to fix their focus and get them accustomed to the lack of light. It was dark, but not pitch black. I'm in a dungeon now? I tried to get up, but the pain plaguing every inch of my body made it hard to breathe, let alone move. It was probably nothing more than the haze of being freshly awoken, so I simply clenched my teeth and let it fade away. I wasn't even trying to be quiet. The pain was just so intense that all I could muster were silent moans. Enduring the agony, I explored my memories. What was this place? Why was I here? Wait. Why was I even alive? Damage to the Ononerabe was an injury to the body. A wound to the soul produced feedback that went straight to the flesh. I saw it happen when I killed Spine. My weapon was completely shattered into pretty little pieces, so there was no way I could be alive.
どうして?
With the freshest of my memories flooding back into my head, I found myself in a state of confusion. Crap. I had to calm down. The condition of my body was more important. First and foremost, I didn't die. Far from ship shape, but there was no doubt that I was alive. The pain was the greatest proof of that. Even a slight move to get a grasp of my own posture made my entire body creak. What was with my posture anyway? I raised my chin and took a deep breath like a carp nibbling on some feed floating in the water's surface. Needless to say, it hurt like hell, but breathing like my head hanging down would have been too arduous a task. With my head, sorry. The cause of the stench of iron in the air I breathed in was probably my own blood. The blood in my mouth, throat, and deep within my nasal canal. The more I focused on my injuries, the more of it I started to taste. The cold air flowing through my lungs brought a pleasant chill to my whole body. The heat it fought was proof of the severity of my injuries. The sensation of being heavily injured, a feeling becoming all too familiar as of late. Shit. The first time was when that dumbass Shiro went and... Stop. get a grip. My mind was all over the place, a clear evidence of my unstable consciousness. I probably didn't get a good night's sleep. I likely went on and off between being awake and asleep due to the overwhelming pain. Honestly, I still had trouble keeping myself from fainting. Yeah. The meager sound that left my mouth greatly lessened my pain. It increased again when I tried to breathe in a larger amount of air. I realized that the movement of my rib cage was constricted and that it helped me get a better grasp of my situation. I was constrained. My back, behind, and legs were against something cold and hard, probably a stony wall and floor. Fighting through the pain, I tried moving my arms and realized that they were bound right above my head. The hard, metallic sound was probably made by chains. Fuck! And finally, I got a full grasp of my situation. Basically, the bastards locked me up. This is instantly different. My teeth were still clenched, and the small breaths I inhaled made weird sounds squeeze out through the spaces. They weren't pleasant to listen to, but I was thankful for any sensation that wasn't pain. Anything to help me stay conscious. I couldn't take deep breaths because the constraints made my whole body heavy. It was like the time that my rib cage was cracked. The simple act of breathing made my chest ache. I said something. The pain lessened, allowing me to utter something understandable. Before I knew it, I was staring daggers at the darkness. I couldn't stop myself from frowning in anger. Anger at my own stupidity. I couldn't see through Valeria Trifa. In hindsight, it was so easy to figure out his true nature. His priestly smile. Thought, gentleness. It was clearly a smile brimming with affection. Affection one would feel for a puppy or kitten playing next to the road. It was either the leniency of a higher being looking down on a worthless little animal, or the whimsicality of a madman. Certain things felt off. Despite being Himuro's godfather, his age hardly matched his looks. Then, there was this overwhelming power behind his presence. However, every time I felt something wrong around him, I wasn't able to let my doubts overtake me. I disregarded them as ridiculous, and it wasn't because of his cassock, nor the lightness of his words, or that smile. I just wished that it was the way I wanted it to be. I put a filter over my vision to make me see only what I wanted to see. I got screwed over, as I wanted to get screwed over. If only I had realized it a bit earlier. Maybe then things wouldn't have turned out this way, and... Oh, just stop that. Thoughts like that were completely meaningless. I breathed in some air just so I could sigh, and the pain that ran through my body made my emotions clear. The priest might have tried to fool me, but the only one that had succeeded in fooling anyone was my own self. I felt pathetic. The anger that came along with that was several times greater. Self-loathing. Didn't even begin to describe it. The pain that didn't even feel like a punishment. I ignored reality by stupidly hoping that the worst-case scenario could never actually happen. I constantly had suspicions whispering in the back of my mind, but I didn't acknowledge them. Why? Because I didn't want to. Valeria Trifa was the divine vessel. And of course, once I accepted and followed that fact, it was obvious that Sister Lisa and Himuro weren't unrelated either. I wondered how Father Trifa actually viewed me. The more I kept thinking about him, the more hints emerged. Maybe he thought I was foolish enough that deceiving me would be pointless. Perhaps he never even tried. The idea made me exhale a sluggish sigh. The pain in my ribs and my back, it still remained. I could almost feel my suicidal thoughts escape through the spaces between my teeth. Good riddance. They were way too thick to give room to any other thoughts. Even if I wanted to crack my skull open against some rock, I was in no state to do it. Also, I just realized that's a lot of either rust or blood on that door. With my eyes now accustomed to the darkness, I glanced around. I was all alone in an unlit room. Just to be sure, I stopped breathing for a moment, but heard nothing and no one, not even in complete silence. Right then, my next course of action would be to escape, obviously. No doubt about that. The fact that they locked me up meant they had no current plans to kill me, but that didn't change the fact I was still in great danger. And of course, that meant that I had to escape. As for the method, well, I closed my eyes and focused on my inner self. I subconsciously mastered it. It melded into my consciousness so well that I didn't even know how to describe it anymore. Which is precisely why I knew for certain that nothing was working. I couldn't activate, form, or connect to Marie's consciousness. Was it because Reinhard destroyed the guillotine? Seeing how I myself was alive, I had hoped she would be too. That might have been too naive on my part, though. So, I was in this fucked up situation as nothing more than a normal human being. The self-loathing and derision made me want to flagellate myself. I felt so pathetic I could only laugh. My own powerlessness made my stomach turn. Why the hell did they lock me up? What use would they have for someone this useless and pathetic? More importantly, I was defeated and had her taken away from me right before my eyes. Then, what became of Kasumi, Shiro, Father Tarifa, and Himuro? I had to calm down. Losing her shouldn't render me completely powerless. Was I really that dependent on her? No. I wanted to support her. So, how come I felt so useless just because my voice no longer reached her? The sound of my own breathing annoyed me. My racing heart felt like it was beating right next to my ears. Hardly the most pleasant thing to listen to. Slow down, goddammit. Normally, a shake of my head would have taken care of it. But the tight bindings coupled with the overarching pain made even that impossible. What was I to do? What would happen to me now? And what happened to Marie and Shiro? Was there anything I could do? I was so mad my consciousness began to fade. Look, at this rate, Suddenly my body froze. I even forgot to breathe. If I hadn't been bound, I'd have surely jumped up. My eyes were wide open. I couldn't even blink as my gaze followed the direction the sound came from. However, I didn't even need to look up to know what it was. The creaking of the hinges, the opening of a heavy door made of steel. Someone opened the door to this room. I panicked so much that my thoughts were scrambled I didn't even hear the person approaching. Behind the abruptly opened door, I spotted a small silhouette bathed in the light from the outside. Either Himuro or Marie. It was. A single person bathed in light was. Someone I could recognize anywhere. The fleeting outline merged with the image I was familiar with and fixed her within my vision.
こんばんは、藤井君。
And she's in her Sonnenkind outfit. A face I knew well. A voice I couldn't mistake. However, all feelings of familiarity were overridden by the taste of despair. She was the one person I didn't want to see in my current situation.
思ったより驚きはしないのね。
The tone of that whisper was no different from the usual. Yeah, I wasn't surprised. My calmness made me realize that I had given up on something right then and there. The place I belonged to was robbed from me and shattered beyond repair. My life was flipping between the ordinary and the extraordinary like a game of reversi. A reversi. Is that supposed to be a reference to something? She was the last thread of hope from my day-to-day life, and her appearance here made it finally get consumed by the darkness. Part of me was glad, though. Having given up like this, I no longer had anything to lose. I could stare into the reality before me without any heavy sentimentalities weighing me down.
そんな目で見られると悲しいな。
The unchanged monotonous of her tone prevented me from getting a grasp of her emotions. The mysterious side of her that used to be charming and attractive had turned eerie and ominous.
ここで先輩が俺を助けに来てくれたなんて真っ先に思えるほどおめでたくはないんですよ。
Oh, trust me, neither am I at this point.
ずいぶん夢がないことを言うのね。
まさか助けに来てくれたんですか？
残念ながらそうじゃない。
Yep, called it. I nearly forgot my situation and let my tension slip away. Imura was acting as arrogant as she was in my everyday life. However, I couldn't let myself get caught in that flow. I couldn't let this turn into a standard episode from a high school drama flick.
ってことは今のこの状況が互いの立場そのものってわけだ。
Oh yeah, you're royally fucked. I just came in here to kind of see how you're doing. Zeke, Bay just keeps on making like these weird little remarks, and I'm just wanting to see how you're doing. It also gets me away from his weird racist ramblings.
What? I moved my body and made the chains rattle.
先輩が看守俺が囚人。
信じてとは言わない。けど、私は藤井君の敵じゃない。
The fact that those words soothed my heart was absolutely embarrassing. I couldn't let my guard down. I couldn't take anyone at face value. It was a game of deception with the difficulty set to ultra hard. One careless move would send me straight to a bad end. Which was why.
じゃあトリファ神父は
Himuro and that priest lived in the same church, and now she just walked into the room where he had locked me up. That meant she was just like him, a white chess piece turned black. That was by far the most logical conclusion.
彼は俺の敵だった。俺は負けてここに連れてこられた。そしてその場所に先輩が現れた。あの神父との関係を説明してもらえませんか？話はそれからです。
私の名付け親。
本当のことを教えてください。馬鹿し合いはもうたくさんだ。
嘘はついてないよ。
She answered with a perfect poker face. Her eyes were fixed on me, and I saw neither strength nor weakness within her gaze. Her pupils, akin to wintry lakes, made me feel uneasy. No good. I was the one interrogating her, damn it!
でも知っていたんですよね。
I gave my all to fight against it. Even made my question as blunt as possible to prevent her noticing my hastening heartbeat. Now I'm just trying to imagine how the hell we're gonna get out of this, if we can.
神父のこと、あの連中のこと。
藤井君、さっきから私のことはどうでもいいみたいだね。
え？
Her question caught me off guard.
私に関係のない人たちの話ばかりしてる。
それは。
Now, that was a childish thing to say. For some reason, though, I couldn't string a proper response to that. Was it because maybe, just maybe, she wasn't actually lying to me?
それに最初から私が君を騙したり裏切ったりそういうことをすると思ってる。
I couldn't really deny that. The resentment, the fear, and all the other emotions that were swirling within me. I felt them subside and lower my tension.
ただ先輩がこの場所にいるって事実がどうもしっくりこなくて。
そんなに不思議？
My eyes had already gone completely used to the darkness. The architecture of the stony prison walls and ceiling seemed somehow familiar.
ここは教会だよ。
それは分かってます。
そう。だったら私が自分の家にいるのは自然でしょ。
問題はそうじゃなくて。
My instincts were screaming that I was about to be caught in a really bad trap. Although, I could probably chalk that up to my head finally having gotten completely fried and rendered utterly useless. Imuro was so close to me. In both mind and body, she was closer to me than ever before.
先輩に悪意がなくて、でも俺を助けてくれる気もないって言うなら、
どうしてここに
Why did you come to this cell? I voiced the question plaguing my heart.
藤井君、単刀直入に言うね。
She spoke, her breath reaching my nose. It was so sweet and fresh that I felt like my own breathing would stop. Her allure made my heart turn restless.
私を抱いてほしいの。
Nope. I have to give you a hard no on that one. The words came so suddenly I had to take a moment to process them.
は
I know! Even I was surprised I could sound like that. That one sentence nearly made me forget the situation I was in. The weird thing is, because I know how I kind of know how this whole Sonnenkind thing works, I'm not even surprised that she just came up to say that. Which only proved how unexpected her request was.
単刀直入じゃないね。少し抽象的だったかな。
No, that was actually quite direct, actually. Her weird comment on her own wording barely even mattered to me. She asked me to take her, but that could only mean...
そう。多分、君の考えてる想像で合ってる。君の反応も正しいよ。
な
I couldn't even begin to understand her. What was her position? Her goal? Why do we have to do it here and now?
難しく考えないで。今はそのためだけの女だと思ってくれて構わないから。
No. I don't think so.
そんな
Something was off. Something was really off about her. Then again, that could be said about pretty much everything around me at this point. All of it paled in comparison to the idea of doing it with Himuro in our current circumstances.
精神は肉体の玩具なんだって。そういう言い訳もあるみたいよ。
Her advances showed no hint of hesitation. Feeling the weight of her volition, I realized that her approach was neither joke nor whim.
ダメだ。
I tried to understand what felt so abnormal about her. The warm fingertips tracing my cheek, the humidity in her gaze, all of it made me feel uneasy. Almost as if I was looking at a little child overcome with desperation.
どうして
藤井君には関係ないことだよ。
That couldn't be true. Himuro was acting way too weird, as opposed to how she usually acts. She was trembling with fear. She might have been looking straight into my eyes, but she wasn't seeing me. She was like a lost girl frantically running away from something.
動かないで。脱がせにくいから。
No? I do not consent to this?
そんなこと
Did she even consider the circumstances? My situation wasn't light enough for something like this. The mentality supporting those reasonable thoughts was growing ever more distant, turning dimmer with each passing second. She was looking at me with eyes half shut, paralyzing my body and rendering me silent. The fingers she placed on my cheek were shaking. Her eyes were barren. She was holding it all in, refusing to tell me a single thing. However, the abruptness of her current actions were so like her usual self that I couldn't help but get a heartache.
一体どうして
Her movements came to a halt at my question, though seemingly not due to hesitation.
いらないんだよ、藤井君。理由なんていらないの。だから。
No. Nope. Himuro leveled her gaze with mine as she went on, her voice but a whisper.
軽蔑してくれていいから。
そんなこと
I couldn't. There was no way I could listen to the words of someone who didn't seem to hold a sliver of hope.
今だけで。
He was about to say something but then suddenly stopped. She seemed to be lost in thought to the point where it seemed like she had completely shut out the outside world. It was a state completely unique to her, as well as undeniable proof that the person before me was indeed Rhea Himuro. Alright then, how would I deal with this?
ダメだ
I kept thinking and thinking and thinking, but in the end, could only shake my head. No amount of thinking could make it seem less strange. I felt like there was no rhyme or reason to her actions, and I couldn't bring myself to believe that anything good could come out of this. Also, above all, I was deeply worried about Marie. She wasn't with me. Clearly remembered how the monstrous gold broke the guillotine and made her shatter into little pieces. What had become of her since then? From the fact that I was still breathing, I could assume that she too was alive. The idea that she died filled me with paralyzing uneasiness.
今更だよ、藤井君。
Frankly, I found Himura's advances to be very attractive. However,
今更なんかじゃないさ。
I didn't want to lose anyone from our group. I didn't want those bastards to take anyone away from me. So I couldn't play along with Himura's desperation. After all,
諦めてないんだ。俺は。
That was why I couldn't let her complete her punishment to herself. It'd be way too pathetic for me to give up and let her have her way with me. I might have looked miserable, but the thing in my heart was still sharp. I looked her straight in the eyes, imploring her to believe me. After staring at each other for a while, she, even though it didn't seem like she actually listened to me, backed away.
言っておくけど、私、諦めてないからね。
And suddenly, I'm just reminded of that damn clip from Overlord Abridged.
I'm gonna get that baby.
変なすね方しないでくださいよ。
うるさいよ、バカ。
Well,
藤井君なんか嫌いだ。
listen, consent is key. You're not getting it. I felt like that wasn't the first time she told me that. Anyway, it seemed like I got her into a state I could converse with. I had no idea why she was trying to do it with me, but I figured being honest was the best course of action here, so...
まあ元気そうでよかったですよ。心配してたし、気にしてた。また先輩と話せて嬉しい。
She looked away and nodded while hanging her head in embarrassment. I pretended to ignore that and went on.
っていうかここ、前にも思ったけど、忍者屋敷みたいなとこですね。抜け道とか地下牢とか、こんな状況じゃなかったら探検してみたいけど。ああ、それと、先輩のその格好は一体どこを目指してるんですか？刺激的っていうか、なんていうか、ゲームで回復魔法とか使いそうで。
That didn't even click in my head. That's actually the color scheme of Light Maiden. Oh my god. If I had to find other comparisons, I'd go for Shrine Maiden, Shaman, or... what was it again? Oh, right. Druid.
祭壇とかの上に乗せられて祈ってそうなイメージ。
つまり、
She cut me off right before I could say how perfect of a fit it was for someone living in a church.
生贄っぽいって言いたいんでしょ？
I didn't say that.
な、
No way, I'd never think that. Her unexpected response rendered me completely speechless.
ごめん、冗談。
Sure about that? Was she really, though? The amount of feelings poured into her tone seemed way beyond the level of a meager joke. There was resignation, there was ridicule, there was cursing. Then there was a hint of lament and anger. She wasn't one to show a lot of emotion in our daily lives, so I didn't think my ears deceived me.
いいよ、もう。きっと、ツケが回ってきちゃったんだと思う。この1年半くらい、楽しかったよね、藤井君。
A year and a half since I rolled into the school and met her there.
時間が止まればいいと思った。
The words that a certain idiot thought on a daily basis. But the earth continued to rotate, and time continued to flow. All that had an end, would eventually reach. Oops.
私、あまり怒ったりしないんだけど、いくつか許せないことがあるんだ。
She looked at me. I could spot the self-derision in her tone.
それは、君に会ったこと。
I
カール・クラフトが許せない。
Well, I mean, Karl Kraft is Karl Kraft, so... Who? I was puzzled by the unfamiliar name, but she paid no heed to my confusion and continued to speak.
どうして君なの？
Protagonist powers? She touched my cheek and continued to quietly word her grudges.
私、君のこと嫌い。
Yeah, I figured.
でも、この気持ちは私のものなの？私に優しい君の気持ちは誰のものなの？
Do you love Theresia or not? The same question I was asked by Valeria Trifa, the divine vessel. What did she know? What was she saying? What did I want to know?
君と一緒にいるのが楽しいって思う私が一番許せない。だからきっと悪いのは私なんだね。ツケが回ってきたっていうのはそういうこと。だって君がどうだろうと、たとえ普通の男の子でも今が来ればもう会えないって分かってたんだもん。時間が止まればいい。今がやってこなければいい。たとえやってきてもね、藤井くん。君も綾瀬さんも遊佐くんもきっと何も知らないままいなくなっちゃうから、それでもいいやって。友達のままさよならできるだろうから、それはそれでいいやって。ずるいね。汚いね。私って。
I wouldn't say that, mostly because I don't want to incur the wrath of the Rhea fans.
だから今、こんな風にいたい。
先輩。
She looked down and bit her lip, trembling as she cradled her own shoulders with her arms. The gist of what she just said was that she knew the crazy events surrounding us were going to happen. However, she didn't expect me to be a part of it too. Not a moment within our daily life together was a lie, and the fact that it had been so mercilessly destroyed pained her to no end. It was making her hate both me and herself. Then, what did she mean by bringing up the scenario where I'm a normal student? Or by saying that our group could have made our friendly goodbyes? It felt almost as if she or the rest of us, maybe both, were going to disappear for good.
もう痛いのは嫌。君が嫌がることできない。そうするのが一番いいって分かってるのに、君が拒むからできない。
Saying that, Himuro zipped up my pants, fastened my belt, fixed my clothes, and looked at me as if to say she wouldn't do anything more. She got that far, my god! Then, after getting into a more comfortable posture, she put on a bashful smile and pressed her lips against mine.
勝ってね、藤井くん。負けないで。もう、それしかないよ。
The kiss lasted for only a moment, less of a touch and more of a light graze. I tried to reach out to her as she stood up, but my binds restrained me, and I could do nothing but watch. She walked away from me without looking back. While silently walking away from the cell, Rand noticed something strange around her. No. That expression was unbefitting her case, for what she felt was part of her daily life. Off it may have been, but hardly unusual. It always felt as if someone was watching her, observing each and every second of her life, regardless of where she was, whose company she shared, and what she was doing. Even at that moment, she felt the presence of a woman ridiculing her, a disinterested man, and a woman doing her best not to show emotion. Ray was within the range of hearing and field of vision of these human-like creatures as they focused their direct yet roundabout attention on her. That wasn't all. She also felt what seemed like fate itself. As cliche as that sounded, though, she had no intention of decorating her situation with such gaudy descriptions. Basically, she was a prisoner of something she was unable to describe, a bird in a cage owned by something beyond herself. That particular something was so grand that the focus of those people and their gazes engulfing her at that moment weren't even worth the attention. It was ordinary. This was her day-to-day life, ever unchanging, no more than a slightly annoying inconvenience she could easily ignore. Or so she thought. It made her angry, drove her up the wall, right to the limit of bearability. Her self-restraint was shrieking as her patience almost started to break. The ridiculing woman was fine, the disinterested man too, though the woman, showing no emotion, was rubbing her the wrong way. It wasn't enough for Rhea to not tolerate her. Her problem lay with the other two. One was a woman acting oblivious, pretending to see and hear nothing. Rhea didn't actually feel her presence, but exactly because of that lack of her attention, she was able to see the woman's stance in her situation. And in all honesty, it felt like a sick joke. What was Rhea supposed to take from this? If the woman had the emotional capacity to sympathize with her and respect her privacy, why wasn't she trying to help her? Why wasn't she speaking up? In the end, she was just a hypocrite, only good at hesitating and worrying. If she was unable to or refused to do anything, Rhea would have preferred she stopped acting like she understood her. Then there was the one man Rhea had more problems with than anyone else. He grieved, he lamented, he was the pervert who shed tears of sorrow with an expression of pure ecstasy on his face, acting like he became a virtuous saint blessed with a heavy trial from God. The man wallowed in his own pain like an alcohol enthusiast in fine wine. Was she candy to him? Poisonous, yet too sweet to pass up? Enough with the sick jokes. This part of him was truly...
大嫌い。
She stopped, glared into the darkness, and squeezed out those words.
大嫌いだよ、みんな。死んじゃえばいい。
That hurts, doesn't it? Upsets you, doesn't it? But you like that, right? Be happy then. Laugh. Sure, you're always smiling, but that's just a mask, right? Where'd you get it anyway? I want one too. She continued staring daggers at the darkness for a dozen or so seconds, but then got disinterested by the lack of response and decided to make her leave. But then...
リザとは仲良くしなさい。これは命令です。
うるさい。
Her voice as she said that was loud enough to surprise even herself. The priest warned her she would eventually come to regret it otherwise.
後悔って何？後で悔やむの後っていつ？私にそんなものが。
Her shout got drowned out by his arrogant words.
彼女がいなくなってしまえば、誰が朝寝坊なあなたを起こして学校に行かせるのですか？
うるさいバカ。もう話しかけないでバカ。
Yelling that, Rhea stormed off into the darkness. With that, the presences of the sneering woman, the disinterested man, and the emotionless woman vanished like mist. However, the considerate woman who hid her presence slowly started to follow Rhea as the darkness welcomed her. The man who had just been told that he was hated saw the spectacle, and it made him wear a wry smile. Alright. I think that is a good place for us to stop, as we have finally returned to Dies Irae. So... well... this felt really good. Be back into this. I missed this... oh, wait a minute. Let's see. I stopped December 31st? Or, I'm sorry, that's... September. My bad. So it's been about 3 months. Well, that didn't actually last as long as wasn't as long as I thought it would be. Well, anyway, guys, I am happy to finally be back in Dies Irae, and I'm excited to get back more into this. Okay, so we had ourselves a bit of a wild jump, to say the least. very wild and spastic jumping between scenes. But needless to say, that was... Huh. Neat. Alright. Sorry, it feels really, really good to be back into this. I've been missing this so badly! Also, I really wasn't expecting Himuro to say, "Fuck me!" or something like that. I was not expecting that. But, like, as soon as the tension started getting in there, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I remember this being a sort of idea, but I don't. There she goes. There she says it. Alright, this is interesting. This is instantly different than all the other routes, so I'm kind of curious how the hell we're even going to get out of this, or how we're even going to put up a fight. Also, I'm mostly worried about Marie right now. But anyway, I know I asked, part of me wants to think that the three that were mentioned back at that little banquet hall of his, I think that those, part of me really thinks that those might have been Machina, Schreiber, and Samuel, I think. That's just kind of what I think. Feel free to correct me. Maybe they're just corpses that just so happen to have similar deformities and stuff like that. I don't know. But anyway, thank you all so much for joining. It feels good to be back, and I can't wait to record more. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hello there everybody, Sabato92 here, and if you like this video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And hey, if you guys like my content, then maybe you'd like to check out another channel who I think deserves equal attention. So click that nightmare emblem and check out that channel, or go to the links in the description down below. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.